Hey everyone, this is Daniel Litwin, the voice of B2B, and welcome to a very special bonus interview for Market Scale's Made in America for this episode in partnership with Premio. Again, I'm your host, Daniel Litwin. Thank you for joining us on this bonus interview. And for the full episode that this is an extension of, as well as previous episodes of Made in America, make sure you're heading to our website, marketscale.com. You can head to our shows tab, and there you'll see season 2 of Made in America. You can also find more information about Premio, who the main episode is covering, on their website, premioinc.com. Again, premioinc.com. So with our last episode of Made in America, we explored the localized manufacturing processes as well as quality control standards and methodologies of some of the industry's most capable rugged edge computing technology coming out of Premio. We also explored Premio's history and journey as a computational solutions provider. Today, what we're wanting to do is get some extended thought leadership on semiconductor fabrication. Specifically, semiconductors are obviously a major component for Premio's technologies. And we have the pleasure of being joined by a thought leader from Intel today. Intel is also obviously a leader in semiconductor technology, and Premio puts Intel's semiconductors to good work in their products and platforms to support its customers. So today, we're wanting to connect some of those dots, explore this partnership between Premio and Intel, and really dig into the domino effects and impact of high-quality innovation in semiconductor technology when applied and used for rugged edge computing. So I'd like to introduce our two guests. First up, Mr. Dustin Situ, Director of Product Marketing at Premio and a frequent interviewee of mine. Dustin, how you doing?
Doing all right. I'm excited to be on the podcast and kind of have more thought leadership discussion in terms of the overall ecosystem and in terms of compute, but most importantly, semiconductors as a whole.
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks again for the hospitality when I came by and visited. It was really, really great getting to explore under the hood of Premio's processes and the dedication to quality and also applying your tech to cutting edge use cases. So it was really great. And I'm hoping that today's interview will just add some of that extra context for why Premio really is setting itself apart in this industry. Now, with that in mind, again, semiconductors are a big part of what Premio invests in to set itself apart. And here to give us some perspectives from Intel is Jennifer Bresler. She's Director of the Business Management Group for the Americas at Intel. Jennifer, it's really a pleasure getting to join you here today for a larger conversation. How you doing?
Great. Hey, thanks. It's great to be here. Thank you so much for the invitation. I'm happy to be here today.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, it's a pleasure getting to sit down, and I appreciate you taking some time to break us, to break down for our audience more context on Intel's approach to innovative semiconductor design and application, and then again connect the dots for how you see this playing into today's rugged edge computing. So we'll start here. Over the years, how have your processors developed alongside the growth of the edge computing market? So both how have they influenced the growth of the market, but then also, chicken and the egg, right? How has the edge computing market's growth then fed back into developing your processors?
Yeah, so as you may know, Intel has been on a fantastic journey. We have transformed ourselves from a PC-centric company many, many years ago to one that addresses the needs of the new data-centric world. On our side, we have evolved our product offerings to provide more end-to-end solutions, scaling everything from edge cloud to 5G network to AI and autonomous driving. And we've made a continuous commitment to our roadmap that supports key technologies for those edge applications and computing environments. We have processors that are well suited to those heavy edge workloads and high bandwidth applications that you mentioned. And we also provide software that helps organizations really capitalize on the promise of cloud to edge computing.
Dustin, from your perspective, putting these processors to use, how have you seen that chicken and the egg scenario, right, of edge computing developing alongside the growth and the innovation around semiconductor chips? Give us your perspective.
Yeah, so I think overall as an ecosystem, it's not going to be one solution that solves all. And I think there's a lot of different partnerships within the ecosystem in computing technology. And Intel is one of the leaders in innovation, specifically in a lot of their processing technologies. And I would say they're at the forefront on some of the biggest technology trends in the last decade. So everything that you're talking about and you're hearing about from the market, from IoT, big data, cloud compute, and now even edge and AI has something to do with Intel silicon in some way, right? So in terms of hardware architecture, I think it's quite evident in terms of our backbone that a lot of this Intel architecture, specifically on the x86 architecture, is being able to be used in our systems to process incredible amounts of data. So as Premio, we continue to successfully push forward in the last 30 plus years as an original design manufacturer by leveraging key Intel technology in our purpose-built systems for our customers to succeed in their applications. So kind of to give you an example, right? Over 95% of our system level roadmap on the embedded side is based off Intel architecture. So it's quite obvious that our partnership is very important with Intel. And we commit to that roadmap. We commit for our customers in order to put their technology into our next gen computing products to really help them succeed in these growing markets. So an example of some of these growing markets that Premio plays into would be, industrial automation, security and surveillance, smart kiosks, robotics, intelligent transportation, and then medical imaging.
So since this is an extension of Made in America, we've got to talk localized manufacturing here. So Jennifer, give me some context on Intel's investments in Arizona right now. I know Intel is leading what's to date the largest private sector investment in Arizona history with the launch of its 2 new chip factories. So just give us some perspective on the background behind this investment into localized manufacturing and specifically localized semiconductor fabrication. What was the motivator? Let's start there.
Yeah. So I'll unpack your question in a couple of different ways. As background, America's technological competitiveness is being tested. You got industry experts, economists, and elected officials that are all raising concern over the decline that we've seen in US-based manufacturing of semiconductors. At the same time, the manufacturing industry is at an extremely pivotal point right now. So on a global basis, we've seen a lot of shortages of semiconductor chips, which has impacted our supply chain greatly and could last into the 2023 timeframe. So at the same time, and as we've discussed, the demand for compute just continues to grow and it's never been higher than it is right now. So combined with the constraints and the demand growth, what we're seeing is constraints for everything that has a connection and compute, everything from cars and farm equipment to PCs and smaller devices. So really diversifying that semiconductor supply chain is more important than it's ever been before. And it's immensely important for us here at home in terms of America's ability to really remain technologically competitive on the global stage. The concentration of supply of semiconductors in one part of the world really puts our entire global supply chain at risk. And this is really where Intel has come in with big bets to right the ship. Intel is uniquely positioned to differentiate itself in the semiconductor market from a manufacturing and ultimately from a supply perspective. So the capital expenditures that were tied to the announcements that you just mentioned really demonstrate our continued commitment to that integrated device manufacturer model or IDM model, which is truly foundational to Intel's leadership in the semiconductor market. That IDM model positions us distinctly with this, what we call lab to fab pipeline, so that we have control over our own destiny by enabling things like our own product design optimization, improving our internal economics, and providing flexibility in our manufacturing environment that ultimately optimizes the supply that is output from that. So going back to the 2 new fabs that you mentioned in Arizona, we're very proud that we've already broken ground on those well ahead of schedule. And when they're fully operational, those fabs will be manufacturing Intel's most advanced product technologies. And those fabs will not only support the increased demand that we have for Intel products, but they will also provide that committed capacity for the Intel Foundry services that we announced earlier this year, and that we're proud to say we've already shipped our first revenue units for.
No, that's amazing. Just to provide some kind of commentary. So I think in the last 2 years, it's been quite tough for the industry as a whole. And I think it's unfortunate that a pandemic basically unfolded this global supply chain shortage in terms of a lot of our components, specifically in semiconductors. So I think, Jennifer, you hit a main key topic, and it's really kind of jeopardizing the overall security and the critical infrastructure. And I think that's why you're starting to see a lot of this targeted in terms of legislation in Congress, and they're specifically pushing forward for things. So I think from an Intel perspective, as a leader in semiconductors in the United States, I think it's definitely a big bet, but it really showcases the investments that are really needed to really kind of bring semiconductors back into the ecosystem, which allows a lot of the partners that work with Intel to really accelerate a lot of our products into market. So I would say like some main things that are really going on and that are going to be, tested in history and we're going to remember. And in terms of legislation, right, you have your CHIPS Acts, right? This is $52 billion investment back into domestic semiconductor research, design, and manufacturing that's in the legislation floor. And what they introduced about a month before was the FABS Act, right? This is 25% tax credit for any type of semiconductor equipment or semiconductor manufacturing facilities. So I kind of ran the numbers, right? If you kind of look at what Intel is putting in terms of their investment of $20 billion in their two fabs, I mean, that tax credit back is $5 billion, right? Back into Intel's to really kind of bring a lot of this onshore semiconductors back. So kind of to conclude, I think although Premio doesn't manufacture semiconductors as a whole, as a partner of Intel, I think, and as an ecosystem partner for compute, I think it's truly exciting to really see this investment, not only from the private sector, but really on the government side to really push forward this legislation to really kind of, in the future, not have this detrimental part of our overall supply chain and really push forward this demand and compute as a whole.
Jennifer, if you could expand on this, what do you see as some of the domino effects or the positive impacts of making this investment into at-home chip production for, again, not only your products, but more importantly, the industries that you serve, like embedded computing, edge computing, and any number of other industries that are using some Intel silicon?
Yeah. So semiconductors are the essential building blocks to the digital economy, everything from cloud to the edge. So we need to increase that advanced chip manufacturing capacity, capability, and innovation, very similar to what Dustin had called out previously. And it's really important for us here in the US for multiple reasons, right? It's critical to this country's technological success. The world is digitizing, the world needs compute. We want the US to be a part of that. It's a matter of our national security, and it's really vital to the economic success of the industries that we serve, as you mentioned. Dustin talked a lot about the disruption that we've seen over the past year plus, and it's vital that we get back to this smoother supply chain that we've known from the past. We've got to get these manufacturing environments back to normal operations so that they can output product and meet the growing demand that there is for compute in the industry. So really combined for our entire industry, it will allow us to collectively make this significant contribution to the economy of this country and beyond, right, in our country's technological success.
Yeah, and kind of to echo what Jennifer was saying, and speaking from a platform designer, so as an original design manufacturer for rugged computing systems, specifically in embedded edge markets, I would say the most beneficial factor for our customers is really having the ability to scale quickly within a reasonable time to market. And that has not been the case in the last 2 years because everyone's just sitting there with orders in hand and the business is there, right? I think demand is there. Everyone's fighting to actually get the business. And the biggest challenge that everyone is currently dealing with is actually just getting simple IC components, simple things that they just need to put down and just to actually service the application. As a whole, from Jennifer could probably speak to this on the semiconductor side, right? Design cycles or design in cycles already take so much time in terms of the overall longevity. So right now, I would say from my perspective, a lot of these projects in the United States are really just coming to a halt. And this has been evident in the entire supply chain, and who is suffering the most is really our end users and their applications, because not only do they are dealing with delays, but they also have to deal with the increased costs that really come with it. So I would say from my perspective, what I've seen, right, the biggest challenge in 2021, and it's going to grow into 2022, is really not even about generating new business. It's really about figuring out a way to kind of get products built and then really increasing that demand coming back from the post-pandemic shutdown. So, as an ecosystem partner that really heavily relies with semiconductors, having access to a localized supply chain is only going to be beneficial, not only for us, but for the entire industry as a whole. And then one thing I believe why Premio has a great capability and asset to kind of, push that last mile integration is what, Daniel, you saw in our Los Angeles manufacturing facility, right? We have 150,000 square foot of automation lines that really can, and the infrastructure to really put together with the system integration, final assembly, testing, and the quality to really get the product into our customers' hands to really help solve some of these new challenges in the market today.
What's also exciting about this investment into localized semiconductor fabrication is it opens up opportunities for an entire ecosystem of technology, like we've been talking about, to leverage locally manufactured semiconductors in their solutions. So Jennifer, what steps are you and the Intel team taking to ensure that this new era of chips will be able to meet the coming demands of some of the most strenuous workflows and data loads that want to take advantage of locally manufactured semiconductors?
Yeah, we have a full product portfolio at Intel, right? And we work very hard to evolve those products ahead of market tech trends. So in the data center, for example, we've been focusing on the workloads that really matter and ensuring that the solutions for those workloads run best on Intel. Within our data center, we have the data center blocks that are equipped with fully optimized Xeon scalable CPUs, persistent memory, and SSDs, all in effort to optimize their workloads. We also work really closely with our cloud service provider partners to optimize compute instances using Intel technology. On the client side, we have new and efficiency and performance cores that are coming later this year with our 12th generation of CPUs for client devices, which our internal code name for that is Alder Lake. And as mentioned previously, Intel is also a major supplier of software. You don't often hear that about Intel, right? But we have this software first mentality that really aims to make Intel the silicon platform of choice.
Yeah, and I think Intel does a great job on really helping partners like Premio to kind of differentiate which product segment that we can best leverage for our type of application. So I think Intel works with partners like Premio to really differentiate those benchmarks and really provide the dedicated hardware solution for us in terms of processing technology that's going to push forward in some of our applications. So one key example that we're constantly dealing with is, in our products and kind of who we're serving, a lot of our computing products are oftentimes extremely ruggedized, and they are deployed in these harsher and remote mobile environments that experience wide temperature, shock and vibration, and power instability. And that's kind of the message that we've been talking about as Premio for the last year, right? Rugged edge computing. And a lot of these factors really heavily rely on computing hardware that has been tested and validated on the silicon level too. So I think Intel, what they are able to do is really provide a portfolio of specific models that our engineers can kind of pick and really include into our overall platforms. And with that kind of cherry on top of the ruggedization and really deliver a product fit for these harsh applications, right? So, similar to, or I would say, unlike the data center where you do have these controlled environments, one of the biggest challenges that our engineers are constantly dealing with is in these harsh remote mobile environments where things are not as stable. So we have to look at the system from the ground up, from the inside out. We select components that have been fit for very different use cases, oftentimes for wide temperature, shock and vibration. And then all of that really kind of culminates together and putting together a solid product like that. So I would say working with Intel and their roadmap, I think they provide some key value propositions that I've been experienced with and kind of my tenure in this industry and kind of what they've committed to that has been very helpful. That number one thing being is this extended product availability that they support for 15 years. When I remember when they first announced that was almost amazing news from the embedded side, because in a lot of our applications, things can't change. And when it's related to government security, when it's related to medical, they're pretty locked in a lot of their designs, and they don't need much change because in the embedded market, they're only dealing with a simple type of inputs, outputs, and compute. So I think having that 15-year longevity support from the moment they announce is extremely a value proposition working with Intel in terms of our products. I think in their overall roadmaps, they're always trying to improve their performance and IOs based on their swim lanes in the next generation. So like, Jennifer mentioned in the Alder Lake in the 12th gen, I've been kind of keeping my eyes or ears close to kind of what the industry has been talking about. And it really is going to bring this new level of technology from the Intel perspective for a lot of our compute architecture. So lots of times, it's the latest in their nano technology, more compute cores, faster memory frequencies, more PCIe lanes, and even better graphics. So, taking a lot of that embedded technology, industrial, we kind of put that all together to really put together our solid solution for rugged edge computing. So thank you, Intel, for all the support. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Dustin. Thank you for your business, and it's great to hear that you're such a cheerleader for Intel.
Always. Thank you.
Love it. We want to live in a silicon world. Yes, we do. Love it. So now that we're talking partnerships, let's close out our conversation with a few focused questions on this partnership and just more generally Intel's approach to building these partnerships and how that pushes its solutions and use cases forward. So how have your partnerships with alliance partners helped provide new Intel chip-powered solutions to the market, right? How do they guide some of the applications and use cases that you then bring to market?
Yeah, so our partners and alliance partners are absolutely critical to Intel, right? We don't survive without them. So every single solution delivered requires ODMs, OEMs, ISVs, all sorts of partners across the channel to help products get to market. We do offer the Intel Partner Alliance program, which offers opportunities for things like training on Intel products, marketing resources, rewards, and expedited support. So we've got supports in place for key market segments like AI, like cloud, industrial IoT, and more. So kind of depending on the level of membership that you're in, you can access tools like that in our Intel Solutions Marketplace, including some lead generation.
Yeah, so I think from the alliance side of the partnership at the ecosystem, that's absolutely right. I think it's important to recognize that Intel is a leader in its space, and what they're doing is driving enormous innovation in their semiconductor technology that really helps shape what we need in our processing platforms. So kind of to give an example, their leading edge technology really allows partners like us to really take their semiconductor chips, put it into a system, and really push forward a computing solution that kind of converges on compute, storage, and connectivity. And that's kind of what a lot of our customers are looking for. So just to kind of recap, ultimately, our goal is to really figure out a way to collaborate with the Intel, understand their roadmap, so we can include a lot of that next-gen processing technology into our own computing designs and really help our customers manage the market expectation and really how can they really solve problems in their real-world applications as a whole.
And we'd be remiss to not mention Intel isn't the only player in this game. There's obviously, plenty of other companies that are trying to jump on this frenzy for quality, localized semiconductor manufacturing. So with the competition stronger than ever, or at least the potential competition on the horizon increasing, what are some of the reasons that you think partners should continue to point customers to Intel-based solutions? What are the things you're doing to differentiate across the market, and to what effect?
Yeah, being able to expertly construct the best products using the best technology is a massive differentiator for Intel, and one that we believe delivers enormous value to our customers and our partners. We have leadership products that help our partners capitalize on the digital disruption that we talked about previously, and our ability to combine multiple process technologies, both what we manufacture internally within Intel, but also the process technologies that we use our external partners for, along with very novel packaging technology, really allows us to uniquely tailor to different customer and market needs. In addition to that, we have our innovation engine that we have released to relentlessly identify and solve tough challenges across a wide variety of industries. Dustin just named off a couple of those, right? But that really allows us to deliver products with improved performance and lower power consumption. So when you talk about those technological advancements that we've made and working with our customers and partners on some of those tough problems, combined with the investments and the massive capital expenditures that we've announced in manufacturing, it really gets you to a place where our customers can rely on Intel for their next generation of innovations that's going to fuel everything for the continued digitization of the world.
No, yeah, thank you, Jennifer. I think from our perspective, it's quite simple, right? The continuous value that we're always trying to achieve in partnership with Intel is really putting together products that have the next gen computing technology in our product innovation, but really actually not just looking at it from a design element, but pushing the full scale manufacturing side and really getting the products into volume for a lot of these new emerging markets, specifically here in the United States. So for example, in the last, I would say, year or so, there's this huge demand and talk about edge compute, and about all this processing power moving away from the cloud and getting closer to the edge. For data that machine intelligence, that artificial intelligence. And I think a lot of this can really stem from what Premio has worked on in terms of partnership in the last 30 plus years. So what we really kind of focus on is, we kind of take a lot of our engineering resources and our commitment into R&D and really kind of scale that out into full manufacturing arm as well. And that as a whole kind of pushes forward the x86 Intel silicon that we provide in our products. And this fits into specific products, which can be embedded computers, edge computers, and even our HPC servers as a whole.
And then last but not least, for the two of you, how important do you see channel partners being to the future of Intel? Jennifer, what do you hope to get out of those partnerships moving forward, and what role will they play?
Yeah, we have, our partners have never been more critical to us than they are now. Regardless of how we really define those channel partners, they're vital to our future. You have the traditional type of partners that we've had in the past from Intel, meaning OEMs and our channel partners, and those are still critical today in terms of delivering our hardware solutions. And then Intel's also evolved their partners. We've got the cloud partners, the ISVs, the CSPs, and they have become massively important to us in terms of our influence of consumption for all things cloud, AI, intelligent edge, et cetera. And then as technology continues to evolve, we continue to rely on those channel partners to help us drive both our influence and our opportunities. So as said, they're absolutely critical to us.
Yeah, and kind of to speak as a partner with Intel for so many years, I think as you look at the overall partnership and overall market, I think the best solutions that really meet the market demands really understand how to tap into the ecosystem of partnerships. I think ultimately, our partnership with Intel really allows us as Premio to put our focus into our core capabilities and what we do best, and allows Intel to do what they do best, right? So from a Premio perspective, again, it's really taking the engineering and design and manufacturing of our system level computing solutions that can quickly be deployed into an off-the-shelf solution that our customers can leverage in terms of scale. And I think some of those core capabilities really to kind of repeat would be, and what we've built in the past 30 years is that engineering. So when I say engineering, there's a lot of distinct activities that we are putting into our industrial grade solutions. So everything from our x86 board schematics, layout design, the mechanical system design for ruggedization, and then the EMI signal integrity, and then overall pushing forward the reliability and environmental testing for our validation is something that we've put together into our standard products and committed into our own product development for our roadmap as a whole. And I second our core capability, and I think is what you can see in our Made in America series is our L10 manufacturing and integration facility in the United States, right? Having that ability here, I think, has been a testament now currently in this component shortage, but is only going to be an asset as we move closer and closer to a localization of semiconductors and that ecosystem as a whole, when it does need that last mile integration to push forward a lot of these new computing products for our customers as a whole.
All right. Thank you to the two of you for your time today. This has been really, really enlightening, getting to peek into Intel's perspective on semiconductor manufacturing, the motivations for why you're developing such a strong footprint here in the United States for your manufacturing. And then more importantly, the domino effects, again, of putting Intel's semiconductor innovation to good use, especially in embedded and edge computing. So thanks again to the two of you. We've been speaking with Dustin C2, Director of Product Marketing with Premio, and Jennifer Bressler, Director of the Business Management Group for the Americas at Intel. Jennifer, if folks want to find out more about Intel's work in this space, maybe they want to get in touch or tap into some of your thought leadership, how can they do so?
So head to intel.com, where you can see all sorts of things of what we're up to and a lot of different things for us to be proud of. You could visit our press room and our investor relations page as well.
Fantastic. And Dustin, same question to you. If folks want to get in contact with you, they want to learn a little bit more about the Intel powered solutions that you offer, or they want to watch the full episode of Made in America, how can they get in touch? How can they learn more?
Yeah, the best place would be our website. That's www.premioinc.com. We have a lot of great content, and we kind of put together podcasts for thought leaderships to really kind of drive some of the innovation in a lot of these newer technologies that we're bringing to market.
Fantastic. And you'll see me hosting some of those podcasts too. We've got lots of conversation for folks to tap into. So Dustin, thanks again for your time again today. Jennifer, real pleasure getting to chat with you. Thanks again for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you everyone for watching this bonus interview for MarketScale's Made in America. If you want to see the full episode with Premio, head to our website, marketscale.com, head to our shows tab, and you'll find season 2 of Made in America right there on the main page. And you can also find out more information about Premio, the subject of this episode, at their website, premioinc.com. Again, premioinc.com. I'm your host, Daniel Litwin, the voice of B2B, and we'll catch you on the next bonus interview for Made in America.